Welcome back to Preservation Travels with Lane and Kevin here at our Restoration Nation. Today, we're in our old stomping grounds, Fernandina Beach, Florida. Welcome back to Preservation Travels with Lane and Kevin here at our Restoration Nation. We're so excited to be able to bring you along on this little trip down memory lane with us here on Amelia Island, Florida. Kevin and I had the opportunity to buy and restore and live in for 4 years a beautiful property here in town. We loved the area, but found that it was just a little bit too far away from our home state and our families, so we sold it a few years ago. And we're back again for vacation, and of course, while we're here on vacation, we're going to bring you some amazing historic architecture. And today, we're in the Parton House. So come along and take a look at it with us. Fernandina Beach is really a fascinating place, and it's not well known, although it's grown significantly since we bought here in 2015. We're just an hour north of St. Augustine, the oldest city continuously occupied by European and African settlers since 1565. We're just that close. And Fernandina has a history just as rich and almost as long. It too is a city of 8 flags. The British, the French, the Spanish, and even the Scottish got in on fighting over who would have possession. Fernandina Beach. So our home was out in Old Town. It's built on the site of an indigenous dwelling because it's at the highest point on the island. It's never flooded. But in 1853, David Yulee thought he'd bring a railroad here to Fernandina Beach, but he couldn't get it out to Old Town. So he brought it here, and almost the entire city packed up, lock, stock, and barrel, and moved over here with the railroad and built an entirely new city. And we're standing in one of those properties that was built about 30 years after that big move. The move was in 1853. This house built in 1883, the Parton home. This home has been part of the same family since it was built. One of the last members of the family to live in this home lived here until she was 103 years old. It's a quintessential Queen Anne home. We see tons of them here on Fernandina Beach. The city is literally riddled with them. Fernandina Beach is known for being one of the cities in Florida that has the highest concentration of Queen Anne style or Victorian period homes in a compacted space in the state. So right now we'll take a look inside this beautiful home. When we walk into this home, we see some of the materials that are really indicative of the building period and area. All of the wood species on this first floor in the original part of the house are longleaf pine. It was used extensively here in Fernandina Beach because it was plentiful. Now, it's still on the market, but it is very hard to find, and it is extremely expensive if you can get it. But this entire beautiful banister, the spindles, the newel posts, the floors underneath, all of the casings, all the windows, all the corner blocks, all the architraves, it's all longleaf pine. Very simple in style. It's funny to think of this, that we look around us now and see as a grand home. This is a very simple home for the time. And you can tell that by the ornamentation that's on the woodwork here. This is very indicative of the period. It's East Lake incised carving. We see it here and at the base of the newel post. But it's very simple. It's almost vernacular in style. It almost looks like it was locally done. I don't think it was. I think this is mass produced during the Industrial Revolution with machinery, but it's very simply done. It's not high style that we see in some of the other homes, and that indicates that this was a home built by a regular middle-class family, working family here on the island. It's gotten so hot outside, and if you're like me, the nighttime temperature of your bedroom has a huge impact on the quality of your sleep. So if you wake up too hot or too cold, I cannot recommend highly enough these Miracle Made bed sheets.
Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA and use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. I wish you could feel these sheets through your TV, but I promise you,
Miracle sheets are incredibly soft and comfortable.
Miracle sheets are self-cleaning. Their sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. They're self-cooling. The silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA are thermoregulated and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, no matter the weather. So you get better sleep every night. They're designed for your skin. Stop sleeping on gross bacteria. Bacteria that can clog your pores, cause breakout and acne. Sleep clean with Miracle. Go to trymiracle.com/restore to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code RESTORE at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/restore and use the code RESTORE to claim your 3-piece towel set and save over 40%.
Again, that's trymiracle.com/restore to treat yourself. And thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. Coming off of the entryway, we have this beautiful set of longleaf pine pocket doors with the transom overhead. That transom would have been so important here in the Florida climate, keep the air moving. And of course, they are still functional. The Partons were an important family here in town. They owned the shoe store here in Fernandina Beach for absolute generations. So this home has a lot of cultural as well as architectural significance here in the city. One of my favorite elements in homes of this period are the extravagant, over-the-top mantelpieces that we have. I love these. Again, done out of that longleaf pine, so probably manufactured locally. Look at this gorgeous incised carving again in that Eastlake design. You have your original mercury glass, beveled glass. And what is so great about this home is it retains both of its original mantelpieces, one here in the formal parlor and one in the dining room. They're matching. Rarely do we see homes that have retained their matching architectural elements. But here they are, right here in the living room, and we'll see another one in the dining room. Another set of pocket doors as I walk into the dining room, and we see the second of those beautiful original mantelpieces. This dining room is flooded with natural lights. Absolutely a stunning space. One of the things that I love about these properties that have been in the same family for so many years is that we lose very few of our original architectural elements, especially when one of the members of the family to own it lived 103 years. So she owned this home, she lived in this home from around 1920 to 2020. That's a huge span of this home's life. And we can see that in the very few alterations we have. Unpainted woodwork throughout this original portion of the house, and all of our original hardware, doorknobs and hinges throughout this early part of the house, all original and Eastlake in design. So right now I'm in the breakfast room, which is right off of the entryway, and this is the end of the original portion of the house. This would have been the back door of the house. There are lots of indicators that tell us that's the case. And I'm stepping into the new part. You can see the change in the flooring, the type of flooring, and the change in the build. Now, that is not to say that this isn't an old build, that this wasn't added on in the 20s or 30s. I'm not entirely sure when the addition was made. It could have been done in 2022 when the current owners completely rehabilitated this house. But this is a new portion of the home. But I do think the current owners have done an absolutely beautiful job using historic elements in this kitchen to make it feel like an aged part of the space. This beautiful bar in the center of the room is an old general store counter. We have a gorgeous gasolier hanging over the bar. Farm sink, elements, just small elements that make a modern space feel not quite so jarring as you move from a historic space into a new space. Okay, let's go upstairs and poke around. One of the biggest complaints we get when we do these videos and show these homes as though we somehow have something to do with what's been done to the inside of the home is the painted woodwork. People hate painted woodwork. Well, in this beautiful home, you have all of your pine unpainted, even up here in the upstairs hall where typically paint would have been applied to woodwork. So let's go into each of these bedrooms and see what treasures they have. Here we are in the front bedroom upstairs. I had to show you, this is one of two matching mantles in the upstairs of this beautiful home. I find it almost humorous how many fireplaces there are in this home. We lived here for 4 winters. I think there were maybe 3 days in all 4 of those winters that were cold enough that we might wanted to have used a fire. They're all designed to be coal burners, so they are not functioning and you won't need them, I promise. But I find these mantles fascinating. Again, we have this East-like design, and on the ends, you see this little flower design, and that is just the very vision, the very epitome of East-like design elements. Now, I say the word Eastlake a lot on this channel, and for those of you who don't know, that's in reference to Charles Eastlake, who was the author of Hints on Household Taste. It was written and published in 1868, and that one book had a global impact on all things design, architecture, furniture, jewelry, even fashion. It was all influenced by Eastlake's work. Every bit of it, the way that we designed our world changed based on Hints on Household Taste. So when I say Eastlake, I'm talking about good old Charles Eastlake and the mark that he left all over the world. Well, farewell from this beautiful backyard oasis here at our Restoration Nation. Preservation Travels with Lane and Kevin. Don't forget, we are not the real estate agents on this property. We do not represent it in any way. We cannot guarantee anything about it. But if you would like to join the fun here in Fernandina Beach, we're going to put the Zillow link for the property in the description below, and you'll be able to reach out to the realtor directly. Thanks for joining us on Preservation Travels. We hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit about this island's history, architectural history, and the history of design. We hope to see you next time. Make sure you give this little video of ours a thumbs up. Hit that bell for alerts for our next videos, subscribe to our channel, and follow along as we work on our own restoration in Natchez, Mississippi at Hope Farm. We'll see you next time.